Yeah, this boss is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Because it hits hard and has insta-Q. Very stupid. But anyway, special effect is that every turn you get this cardiac stimulation stack. And then when you use a melee attack or resonance, you will spend this stack to increase fire damage by 40%. So it's meant for Fire Wind and boss skill mod. As for the boss gimmick itself, this one you have to pay attention because it says each turn but should be every even turn, so every 2, 4, 6 turn, it will grant cover 9 stack to all shadows. This stack is like a kind of shoot thing where it will decrease fire damage taken. And to remove it, you need to inflict ailment. So you need to use like a freeze or burn whatever every even turns before wind attacks to remove this stack. So you can use Howler, you can use Toy for this. So here's the team. So I will all in the other side because of 2 reasons. Number 1, Futaba doesn't really pair well with Fire Wind, at least for A0, because A0 Wind on turn 3 she uses a skill 1, while Futaba uses a skill 3. So that's not really ideal. It only works well if it's A1 Fire Wind, because A1 Fire Wind on turn 3 will use a melee attack, enhanced melee, so will pair well with Futaba. A0 not really well. The other reason is if I use Futaba here, on the other side, I only have Wind or Okian. Okian sucks. And Wind, I cannot use the Wind with Tempest Wind. I cannot put 2 Winds in the same team. And I also need the defense debuff. You only don't need defense debuff if you're like higher awareness mod. But my mod is A0, so she needs a lot of defense debuff. So I need Futaba on the other side. So Fire Wind, she's running Acceptance and Strife. She has 5-star weapon. Then for the crit rate, it's a bit difficult because I have A1 code. A1 code gives 15% crit rate. So you definitely need to calculate this yourself. And the rotation might be a bit different because you need a Rebellion and a Revolution to cap defense. If you are around my crit rate, because I have a core A1, it's pretty much a free Rebellion already, so I just need a Revolution to cap the crit. For pierce rate, you can just get as high as possible without sacrificing crit multiplier. This boss doesn't really favor that much for defense debuff compared to the other side. Then we have Court. Court is actually going to be a bit of our sustain because of this passive kills when you use highlight. And a tip to increase your chances is to give her HP recovery card, so you heal more. But make sure you check your attack stat. So the attack stat is to be 5600 if you are max scale in battle. So I hit this in battle, so no problem for me. That's very important to know. When you change card, make sure you still hit the stat requirement. Then we have Matoi. Matoi is very important here for Fire Wind. She can also inflict freeze on even turns. So she's running Faith Fertility, Star Weapon, Star Screen. Our Navigator is going to be Wind. Phoebe might be better here, I'm not very sure. I don't have her unfortunately. So she's running Integrity Label, 5-star weapon, Stat Screen. Then for Dagger, I already talked about this before, Ex Machina is better than the new Dagger. Then for Persona, we're actually going to use Media twice in the battle, just to reduce the RNG. And even with 2 Media, we still struggle to survive. So you need 2 Media on 2 Personas. The first one is going to be your drone, because using Media will actually trigger the passive here, which is a damage up. So for me, I overclocked 2, so it's 1.5% per stack, up to 8 stack, so it's 12% damage buff. So pretty much any skill that targets your allies will get. Then we also use the Purifying Flame on the first turn for the burn. Then the other persona is going to be Dominion, which is the Media. Similar to Drone, using a Media or any self-targeting move, it will trigger the passive for the overclock, which is the commandment stack. This one is pretty good, gives you attack and damage for 1 turn. And you can use it on turn 4, which is when your Fire Wind uses an enhanced melee attack. So she will do more damage while you also heal a bit. Then the last persona is going to be Komokoten for the Revolution to buff the crit. Because I have A1 core, Revolution is enough to cap the crit. If you don't have, you might want to use Rebellion instead. As for turn order, this one is rather important. It has to be exactly this. No wonder has to move after your Matoi. Because if you do this setup, then you use Drone on the first turn, you will guarantee scout the entire time, as long as you land the burn, of course. So make sure you main target Drone on Matoi, because Matoi has higher accuracy. And this fight is on Momentary because it's hell. So on the first turn, you do a Matoi skill 1. This is to inflict a scout also. Then use a Drone signature skill on your Matoi. Matoi because she has the highest accuracy. Then the Drone signature skill should last until like turn 4. Should be enough for the scout or until the rest of the fight. Then skill 1 with Rain, buff the crit. Luckily, no freeze for me. Then you just need to tank. This was super annoying. I'm sure many of you already know. Very annoying. Then we do a win skill 3. We do a skill 3 first because skill 3 buffs more. Like I said already, defense debuff isn't as effective here, and skill 3 can easily buff 90+%. For me it's 100% because I have R3 for the weapon. Then I use a skill 1. It feels cold again because we got burned. Then we can do a revolution. And we also use a Mudoon skill 1 because of the cover of night stacks. You want to use Mudoon skill 1 every even turn. So that's why I started with skill 1 then skill 1 again. Then Wind Highlight, buff herself. Then we do a code with skill 1. Then you activate the skill 3. And then you can check your crit. So my crit is, I think, yeah, almost capped. Then you attack. Then we're going to tank. I think they use Mudoon this turn. Let's just pray to God. Mudoon only insta-kills when your HP falls below half. And right now Matoi is half now, but thankfully Rhythm Ring is also half. Thankfully it didn't trigger. The lower the HP, the higher the chance of insta-kill. Skill 1 with Wind. Then skill 3. Then we use a Drone Media. Drone Media will actually buff the damage because of the overclock. So it works with any self-targeting skill. You see the damage up. Then we do a skill 3 from the code. I'm using code here because she can sustain a little bit with her passive. Because every time you highlight, she will heal the lowest HP person. Then we skill 1 with Wind. And again we pray. The assault dive hits pretty hard also. So you are kinda cooked if they target the same person like 4 in a row. Which can also happen. You see, I think they only targeted Core and Wonder there. Then we do a skill 3. So I sync. So the wind rotation is going to be 3-1-3-1-3. A bit different because I try to sync the wind skill 1 and skill 3 on the wind enhanced mini attack turns, which is turn 4 and turn 6. You skill 1, make sure again you skill 1 on the turn where they have cover of night, which is turn 2, 4 and 6. Now it's turn 4. Then we Dominant Media. This will, you see the command stack? It triggers. And if you didn't know, Rin's enhanced mini attack can is counted as a skill for some reason. Haru's gun is also counted as a skill, so it can eat away the command stack from Dominion to buff the damage. It's quite a good run because I didn't get freeze both times. But still, using 2 media in the run isn't most ideal. But it's just to reduce RNG, and I don't plan to test anything on this stage because it's very stupid. Then we do a wind skill 1. There we go, Revolution to buff the crit. Then we do a core skill 1. I may target the middle one because the middle one seems to be taking more damage. Then we do a core highlight. Then skill 1. Sadly, the Rin's, how to say, Rin's highlight isn't crazy strong, but Rin's highlight can buff herself, so that's good. The skill 2 activated a bit too late. if only it was one action earlier. Then we just pray here because of Mudoon. If they target Cold or Wonder, we are very dangerous. And Wonder dodge that, which is very nice. So I survive this round. Then we do a win skill 3. Then skill 1. You see that I didn't get Scout there, but it's fine because Scout already exists. Because Scout and defense, basically the skill 1 lasts for 3 turns. So I use a skill 1 on turn 4, it should last until the end. So it's fine. Then we do a core skill 3. Then activate, make sure again activate the skill 3 first and then use highlight because you get the crit rate from the skill 3. So use highlight. And then you attack. The final score is 28, which isn't super impressive but still higher than last week. For the other side, we have the Frostcalmon boss. This boss is much kinder. So it's the same special effect. And then the boss gimmick is that every hit it takes, you will decrease the stack, which will just buff the damage basically. So let's go to the team. Like I mentioned, we all in this side because Futaba. We need defense debuff and I cannot use a win with win together. So my option is really only Futaba. And we're going to put twins here of course because the twins are good. So Frostcalmon is going to run Freedom and Triumph. She has 5-star weapon. Then you need 49.3% crit in battle. So including your navigator. Then your pierce rate need to be 17.7% also in battle to cap the defense. If you're following my rotation and my cards. Then we have Tempest Wind. Very good partner for Frostcalmon. Is running Creation Worthy, 5-star weapon, set screen. Then we have Twins. Twins, you need to run Departure Control for defense debuff, 5-star weapon, set screen. Then Navigator Futaba, you need Resolve Labor for the 10% defense debuff, 5-star weapon, set screen. For Dagger, we run Ex Machina and then put Wind Persona in front. If you don't get 17.7% pierce, you can just run Sire Compass for the defense debuff. So first persona we have Vishnu. You need Rakunda and the signature skill. Then Dionysus, you need Rebellion for the crit. And lastly, Diagnostic. You need Rakunda also. We need 2 Rakunda because Diagnostic Rakunda can give the mark. So for turn order, your Mont should be last. Twins ideally number 1, especially A0, so you can apply the skill 3 buff. Then these 2 swapping should be fine. First turn, you do a Sign Nuke. Buff the Pierce and debuff defense departure control, then we skill 3 with Wind. Tempest Wind for the crit rate. In attack, buff. Then Rakunda with Vishnu. Then skill 3 with Mont. Then we skill 1 for Futaba to buff the debuff defense. Then use Fire Ice. Then Mont highlight. Then we skill 1 with Tempest Wind. Make sure you wind swipe here, very important. Because we are going to use Vishnu with Wonder, which will increase wind damage taken if it's wind swipe already. So we're going to wind swipe with wind first. Then we skill 1 with Mont. 900k, not bad. Okay, attacking Wonder is very ideal because Wonder is tanky. Then we skill 2 with Tower. We're not going to do skill 3 because skill 2 can buff the next turn, which is also the Resonance turn. Then we skill 3 with Twins. And then we also have Resolve Label on Futaba. If you don't use skill 2, then the Resolve Label will walk off. Then we do skill 3 on Wind. Then Dionysus Rebellion. Then we use the Tempest Wind highlight. Then you can check your crit rate now. I overcap by a bit, mostly because of the skill amplification from the twins. Then skill 3. Then Futaba skill 2. Skill 1 here should be fine also I think, but just do skill 2 just in case the charge is not enough. And use Side Nuke. Then skill 1 from Wind. Wind Sword is not really required for this one because Mon is gonna inflict Wind Sword herself later. Then must be Yanosek or Kunda to also inflict the mark because the Vishnu debuff was already wore off. Then we substitute it with a mark. Then we skill 1. Not bad. Oh, that's a very good dodge. Okay, we are guaranteed to survive now. Then skill 1 Futaba. Fire Ice. Then Fire Ice highlight of the damage and attack. Then Wind skill 3 of crit and attack. And I think crit damage also. Then we have Vishnu. Then skill 3. Final turn, page the big damage turn with skill 3 with Futaba. Then twin skill 3. Then skill 1 from Tempest Wind. Dionysus Rebellion. Then we do Mod highlight. Final skill 1. This should be around 60, 60, 62. That range I think. Yeah, it should be. 60, okay.